I had, when I started bringing, I said, well, what's the use of just flapping two over? Yeah, we got it.
Okay, we're live on YouTube. Mr. Mayor, whenever you're ready.
All righty, let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to call us to order for our joint meeting of the Clarksville Town Council and our Clarksville Planning Commission. Thank you to everybody that's able to join in. Appreciate that. We'll go ahead and get started with the request that we have. So, Jeff, are you going to present that request for us?
Yes, sir. Hold on. I'm going to share a screen real quick here.
Okay.
Come on, man. All right. I'm going to review the request now. The request we have tonight is from Power Home Solar on behalf of Mr. Neil Bertleston and Gail Jones of 304 5th Street in Clarksville. They're in a purchase installation agreement. They want to install 21 roof-mounted solar modules to their existing roof. The panels will generate 6.272 kilowatts of power and will be tied into the existing electrical grid. Anybody have any questions? And of course, with solar panels in the new ordinance, they do have to get a special use permit to be able to, to do the install. So I do not have, evidently they Power, I sent them an invitation. They are not online here. In terms of questions, I'll be glad to try to answer any questions you have. This is the design. Of course, this is the old Randy Fitzgerald home off of 5th Street that they purchased and are going to install it. The solar cells will be put on the rear roof of the property and will not be facing the main road.
Okay.
And then that just kind of gives you a feel for the how they'll be laid out upon the house. And that, that's I mean, it's pretty basic. I mean, it's just more of a situation that we have to go through the special use process. So, in terms of public input, Mr. Mayor, I have received no emails, no phone calls, no written information or input from any of the surrounding neighbors or any of the residents of Clarksville.
Okay, very good. So, and there's no one there to speak regarding the matter, right?
No, sir.
Okay, all right.
So you want to open it and then we'll close it?
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and just open the public hearing, and sounds like there's no one there, and no comments have been sent in. So we'll go ahead and close the public hearing.
Yeah, we go through there. Yeah.
Okay.
No one is here, Mr. Mayor, so.
All right, sounds good. Well, let's close the public hearing then. And we'll move on to recommendations.
All right. I recommend that as a zoning administrator that we grant the special use permit with the following special conditions. And I think I provided you guys these in advance. A solar energy collector may not project more than 5 feet above the eave of the roof. A collector that is roof mounted shall be safely and securely attached to the roof. The color of the roof mounted solar energy collector shall be neutral and should have a substantial non-reflective surface. Energy collectors will be installed, maintained, and used in accordance with the manufacturer's directions, and the building official may inspect the completed installation. Roof-mounted solar collectors shall comply with all applicable construction and electrical codes and will comply with all standards and measures advanced by the Commonwealth of Virginia and featured in the Code of Virginia. The landowners must obtain an additional special use permit for the addition of any additional solar modules above the requested 21. The landowner also must obtain an additional special use for an increase in the size of any of the 21 requested solar modules or change in the location of the modules from the engineered plans. And that's my recommendation. I guess the Planning Commission would love to have a recommendation for you guys to accept my recommendation.
Okay.
So moved.
I second.
That was Larry, you making a motion to go with the recommendation?
Yes.
Okay. And Todd, you seconded it, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Any discussion by the planning commission they want to add to it? All right, all in favor?
We're gonna do a roll call
Roll
vote.
call.
Tara will call you.
Okay, Larry Chapman,
Yes.
Todd Jones,
Yes.
Carol Kaiser,
Yes.
Robin Tuck. Yes. Leslie Wood
Yes.
and Jeff Jones.
I vote yes.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Now it goes to the town council to accept the recommendation of the planning commission.
Do we have a motion to accept the recommendation
I'll
from
make a
council?
motion to accept the recommendation.
Bruce, yeah.
Really low.
Okay, motion and a second. All righty, Tara.
All right, Vice Mayor Warner,
Yes, in favor?
Councilmember Dennis,
Yes.
Councilmember Height. Yes. And Councilmember Clark. Councilmember
Yes.
Clark.
Is he still with us?
Jeff, I think he fell off.
This is really low.
Yes.
He
Oh,
said
there
yes.
he is.
Thank you, Chris.
He came back.
Bear with me. I'm gonna turn up the volume a little bit here for Tara. All right, Mr. Mayor. The only other thing I would say is we do have another special use that I got the day after we advertised this one,
Right.
and it's going to be something that we've got to cover in a later session. But I just want to make you aware of that. I'll be getting with you on that, and I'm hoping to do that one in conjunction with our normal May meeting, which I think is the 19th, 18th of May.
Okay,
But I will get y'all the information. But we do have another one coming,
sounds good.
and that's
All right,
going
I
to be
guess
for a B&B. It's a new B&B in town, and they're looking to get a special use. So I will let you know.
Sounds good. So I guess if there's nothing else from anyone, we'll close this meeting. And thank you to the Planning Commission for joining us for this, and we appreciate it. And Jeff, can we close this out and take 5 and get started early on our council meeting, or do we have to wait?
That's set for 6:30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the Zoom and the YouTube up and active.
Okay.
And then if you guys want to take a little break, and then we'll come back here about 6:30.
Okay. All right. Well, this meeting's adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
And the town, the council member, excuse me, the planning commission folks can drop off.
You guys can
If
drop
needed.
off unless you want to stay for the regular meeting, but
Did you want to say? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
thank
Thanks,
you. Thank you.
everyone. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Take care.
Thank you, Larry.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Toad and Carol.
Take care. Y'all be good.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Jeff, I'm coming in on that new, on the council, since if I have a mess up, we'll have 10 minutes to fix it.
Yeah, I got you. You coming in.
All right, I'm gonna close out my personal in a minute.
There you are. Okay.
All right.
Close.
Okay, I got you.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna mute for a minute here.
Yes, sir.
Mike just sent me a text. Let me make sure I'm muted.
No reason to deny it. You'll be home if you step in front of us. What's that?
Where's your?
All right, it's about 6:26. We'll start back here in about 3 or 4 minutes, Mr. Mayor.
All right, sounds good.
Hey, Ricky, we're live now, so we haven't started the meeting yet, but we're recording. Yeah.
Tammy and Danny are out of town.
All right, I'm unmuting everybody, so I'm unmuting me, I'm sorry. So we got about 30 seconds probably. Just so people know, we got Richards here. And of course, Carolyn is here also. And we've got Tara and Chief.
All right, we ready?
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Mayor.
All right, let's get started. We got everybody we need, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All righty, let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to call us to order. Thank you all for once again participating in our Zoom meeting. Hopefully we can get back to.
Can't hear Bruce. You can't hear Bruce.
Bruce with us?
I don't hear anybody.
Hello.
You don't
can
hear
hear me?
anybody?
I can't,
Try looking
I
at
don't hear
your.
anybody. Do you hear me?
Yes.
But I can, what have I done? What have I done?
You may look at your. You may have accidentally cut your speaker off. I mean, cut your speaker off on your laptop. He can't hear me, so he can't understand what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
You know, in the upper left-hand corner, you see there's little speaker buttons there on your
That's it.
keyboard, on your keyboard.
On my keyboard.
Yeah, and it may be that you've got,
You're a very wise man. Thank you.
oh, man. I'm sorry.
No,
Go
that's-
ahead, Mr. Mayor.
We ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
righty. Going to call us to order again. Let's go ahead and start with our invocation and then we'll move into the meeting. So if you'll join me, please. Father, once again, thankful for this day. Thank you for this country. We thank you for this town and locality and our citizens in this community, Lord. And we pray for each and every one. Father, we pray that what we do here tonight will be with your guidance and wisdom and thy blessing in all that we do and say. And forgive us our sins. In Christ's name, amen.
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 All righty. Approval of our minutes from our last council meeting. Any questions, corrections from council?
Noted, I move we approved as submitted.
Okay.
I'll
There a
second.
All right. All right, Tara.
Okay.
Okay, Vice Mayor Warner,
Approve.
Councilmember Dennis,
Approve.
Councilmember Height,
Approved.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Okay. We'll move on to the list of vendors paid. Any questions or comments from council on the vendors paid month of March?
Motion to approve and submit it.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Back to you, Tara.
All right, Vice Mayor Warner,
Approve.
Councilmember Dennis,
Approve.
Councilmember Height,
Approved.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Okay. And then next, our financial statements. Questions, comments from council on financial statements? All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Motion and a second. Back to you, Tara.
All right, Vice Mayor Warner,
Approve.
Councilmember Dennis,
Approve.
Councilmember Height,
Yes.
Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
All righty. Public comment. Jeff, is anybody there for public comment?
No, sir.
All right. And you've got no requests there from anyone, correct?
I've had no written request or emails or verbal request.
All right. So we'll open public comment and there's no request being made and no one there. So we'll close the floor and we'll move on to Richard.
Hold on, let me turn Richard around here.
Okay.
Good afternoon, y'all. How you doing?
Hello, sir.
Just a little update. We are going to move forward on the sidewalk project on Buffalo Road. Our goal right now is to start at the subway area. And we're starting at the subway area and going all the way to 8th Street. We're going to, town crew will be removing the sidewalk at this time. And then we will go ahead and have that section replaced. And that will be from Subway all the way up to 8th Street. We will go ahead and continue to remove the sidewalk on 8th Street where all the roots and all the bad spots are. But at this time, we're not proposing anything to go back. We feel like we need to meet with the Streets and Sidewalk Committee on that and decide the best way to put the sidewalk back if we really need to. But so that's what we are planning on doing right now. There is money in the budget to fund this and to take care of it. Any questions?
No, sir. Sounds like a good plan.
Okay.
Next, Richard.
Next is an update on the painting of the town hall on the exterior. As we know, the They started on the town hall this week. Monday, they have pressure washed it, and they have actually come into the front and did a lot of the pressure washing and cleaning on it. And we're in the process of coming up with some colors for the building at this time. The exterior wood, reports I got is not in as bad a shape as it looked. Seems to be, a lot of it seems to be solid, but there will be some repair work that needs to be done. But I guess that's really good news to know that it's not too bad a shape, so they can go ahead and try to get it all cleaned up and put back together so we can start getting it painted. Down on 5th Street, I'm sorry. We have been talking about things to do down there. And one of the biggest complaints that I think Jeff has got is people driving down to the lake. Jeff and I went down and looked, and we came up with a plan to put in some posts across the area that gives adequate parking, but it kind of makes it where we can post some signs up that says no vehicles beyond this point, which will give us a way to monitor that area. And if anybody violates, we'll be able to do something else about it. But we put the post at 5 foot apart with one 10-foot opening in the middle. If need be, that can be closed up if people take advantage of that opening. But we left that there in case ambulance or something needed to get down there to that area for a reason. We felt like that would still give access. There is one other opening at the other end that we use for our tractors to get in and a dump truck when we clean up that area. That one we would put 2 posts down and probably put a chain or piece of a large rope or something across there to just kind of barricade that off so it won't be used also again for driving in other than what we need to go in and clean up. We feel like this will be working toward the goal of trying to make that area more of a park area, and hopefully we can put up some other signage and stuff as we find what's needed to be posted, whether it be hours of use, no littering, maybe a time limit to be there or something if that's necessary. But this is a progress to the start, and I think it's a good start. I don't have a picture of it right now, but if y'all get a chance, you can go by there. We actually got the post in across the front part of it today.
I endorse Jeff showed me a sketch of the plan that you all came up with after, and it was very similar to what I had in mind. And I've also got a picture of some signage I took in another town that might be appropriate. Okay. Yeah.
So
how about trash receptacles? So
we got 2 down there.
Maybe more than.
Well,
He's got one on each end.
I've got one on each end with 4. When I said 2, we've got 2 boxes with 2 receptacles in each box.
Oh, great! Yeah.
Which is 4 cans.
Perfect.
And if that becomes where they're filled up and used, then we may have to expand and put another 1 or 2 in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I think right now with the 4 in there, we haven't picked up very much stuff. But it doesn't give them an excuse that they don't have a place to dump it.
Right. And we get holes in the bottom so they would.
Yes, we did.
Perfect, Richard. You think of everything.
Yes.
Hey, Richard.
Richard,
Could you place on those trash receptacles, these are for use by park participants? You know, sometimes.
Not yet.
Okay.
Did I have it replaced?
He said, had you already put the?
No, I said, could he, is what I asked. Could you
Oh,
put?
you said, could you? That's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
Take it under consideration.
It's definitely can be under consideration. And like I said, we've got some other examples of what could be put up. And I'm hoping we can do it in a way that we don't have little signs stuck everywhere. Maybe have one big sign that kind of sets the rules for the boundaries and stuff, and have that at the entrance as you go into it.
Sounds
that
smart.
You don't have so much signage that looks so commercialized.
Yeah.
Right. Sounds smart.
Natural.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions on the on the Fifth Street Park area.
Sounds good.
I think the residents will be very pleased with this progress.
Get to the. All right, Richard.
Oh, okay, we on my next subject, I'm sorry. As y'all know, computers are something to get used to. Every time you turn around, you're having some issues with them. We've been very fortunate at the water plant that we haven't had any problems with ours hardly, since they were installed in 2006 at the water plant on the SCADA system. For those that don't know exactly what a SCADA system is, the system we have there now, it helps the operator to monitor, make changes, controls, turns and turns off pumps, filters, and other valves as needed while the plant is in operation. It also takes the data from the test equipment and stores it into a computer, into a file form that can be used to go back and monitor in the event that you have issues at the plant, to satisfy what the health department wants to have as a redundancy of transparency and reporting of what's being done at the plant. We report every 2 hours worth of data that is done by the lab upstairs. And that data is what they go by, but they like to have the other data to back up everything else to show that that is a correct number and just not a number we picked up and pulled out. But unfortunately, we have started to have multiple issues with the computer system and the SCADA system down there. Upon having Logic come down and do some troubleshooting, they came up with the conclusion that we would have to upgrade because what was put in there in 2000, actually the license for it was purchased in 2003 and installed by the time the project was finished in 2006. And one other little bit of backup so the council may understand, when the plant was bidded out, which was 2003, the company that bidded it was Automated Controls. They had this bid in the packet, and that's what the contractor that got the bid on the plant approved to do the installation. Upon startup or starting the programming and drawing and getting all the other stuff installed, Automatic Controls went out of business, which left us right in the middle of nowhere. So I tried to get Logic involved in it, but they charged a lot more than another company that the contractor chose to pick up. And they were capable of putting the system back in service, and that was a company called Synopsys. Synopsys is another small company that has been in business for a while, but they have had some issues about coming down and trying to work on our equipment. So we were able to get Logic to come in and do the last several repairs necessary to keep us in operation. The last time he came down, he said that software would not be able to be upgraded into another computer. One, because the computer we got down now is XP. It was been in since 2006. I don't know what happened, but that computer held up better than any of the rest of them. But Christy now is having trouble starting that computer very frequently because it gets hung up, and I'm not going to say it crashes, because when I say crash, usually they don't start back up. But it's called having to be rebooted quite a bit, and it's getting more frequent. We had them come in and look at it, and to upgrade the software and these programming license agreements and stuff, it's going to have to be upgraded. And the PLCs are also obsolete, so they will have to be upgraded. And unfortunately, that cost is going to be $81,345. We thought the system would hop along until the new budget came in, But we've got to a point now, I'm scared to keep waiting, because if we lose that data, it'll probably be another $25,000 to $30,000 worth of time and labor to put together another system if we can't retrieve it off of this system now. So Jeff and I have been talking and trying to figure out ways to do it. And right now, it's something that we need to press forward to do, because it is a need to have this thing taken care of. Down the road, with the future thoughts and upgrades, this system will be able to be added to and be able to make better without having to change a lot of the major stuff. As it gets larger, there may be some components that have to be added to it, but it will be an up-to-date system. And hopefully, if we have to do upgrades on a plant, that can be incorporated at that time with the plant that's going to be upgraded. With the new system, they have given me an estimate that would begin 2 years, the second year after it's installed, because it already comes with 1 year of support and everything with it when it comes in their licensing. And that upgrade support would be about $4,500 a year. But that would keep our licenses up to date. It would keep, I'm sorry, what did I say?
45.
I inverted numbers again, I'm sorry. It's $4,500.
No, $5,400.
I'm doing it again. Excuse me, it's $5,400 a year for the licensing and support to try to keep this up to date, so that we won't run into this problem when we have to come up with this larger money at one time. That's what I have on that. If any of y'all have anything y'all like to ask me, I'll try to help explain it.
Will all of this join in together with the other items that we're getting ready to do at the filtration plant? Or is that even involved with this?
No, well, I think that's a good question, Bruce, and I think that's what Richard was saying, is it's scalable, so that yes, it could be used with the enhancements we'd have to do at the water plant at a later point in time, and it can be scaled up to meet a bigger plant. And that's he asked that question, and it is scalable. That's not to say you won't have to add other PLCs to gather the information or set points to pick up temperatures or pick up pHs or something. You may have to add more of those, but the base system should be scalable.
And this is the most up-to-date program that's available?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I think as council members, and, we have a responsibility to provide to the state all the information and to safe water for our residents. And this is just one of those things that happens, and goodness, we certainly got a lot of miles out of the system that's there now, but if it's failing, I don't think we have any option but to go forth with this. And I would like to make a motion if that's what we need.
May I ask a question real quick, just to clarify something?
Yes, sir.
Where, so this is budgeted money that we have that would come out, or where are we getting this?
No. And that's a good question, Mr. Mayor. We've got some budget set aside partially to do it, but we've used that budget for, the tank things, and we've also used it. We had the problem on the bridge,
right,
with the water intake. Now, of course, that was paid for with insurance money. And so Tara and I are going to come back to you guys in May with the proper budget amendments. But we've also, spent money for COVID-19, the CARES Act money. Some of that money bought stuff that goes into this line item also. And as Richard said, we weren't expecting to do this. So we threw a lot of this together yesterday and today to get it to you guys, because we were really concerned about an emergency failure. So next month, I'm going to bring, Tara and I are going to bring you the proper budget amendments, and it's going to be, including the COVID money. It's going to be including the insurance money, and it's also going to be taking money out of contingency reserve to help fund this. So it's not completely in the budget right now. That's correct. But okay, we're gonna find it, and we're gonna put it out there, even if we have to go into our reserves. We got to.
Well, I know it needs to be done. I just wanted to clarify where, where the
Yeah.
funding was coming from.
That's a good question. I mean, that's excellent.
Okay.
I'm with Carolyn. Do we need to make a motion on this so we can proceed quickly?
Yes, and I think
please.
Carolyn did make a motion. If I remember, I just wanted to clarify the funding side of it. So.
Carolyn?
Yes, I move that we give them permission to go forth with upgrading this SCADA system and contingent on the financing that Tara and Jeff present us with. And this would be in the, is this in the
It's gonna be in
current
this
budget? Yeah,
current
that's
budget.
what I'm
Yes,
thinking.
ma'am.
Yeah, so we've got,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, so definitely that would be the way to do it. I have no option.
Okay.
So they can start immediately, Carolyn?
I would hope that you all.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
All
gonna
right.
get them in here as quick as we can.
right.
Yeah.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Motion and a second on the floor. Okay, Tara, back to you.
Vice Mayor Warner,
Yes.
Councilmember Dennis,
yes,
Councilmember Height,
Yes.
and Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Okay. Anything
Y'all
else
got any
from
other
Richard?
Questions for Richard?
Mr. Mayor and Council, I do appreciate y'all's cooperation in this, and I am sorry I had to come to you to ask for this at this time, but some things you just can't plan for.
Very true, Richard. Very true. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard.
Yep. All righty. What's next, Chief?
Everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Give y'all an update on the taser and the body camera program. Officer Isco was actually in charge of that. He put it together. We've completed all the training except for the 2 new officers. They'll have to do that once they graduate from the academy, which is set for June the 16th, I believe. They got a lot more training to do. Once they graduate, they have to go through a toxilizer training, ASP training. Then once they get through all of that, and once they get through with that, then they got to start with me. They got a 12-week FTO program. So, but they'll get that somewhere in between before they start with the FTO program for me. The body cameras, they've probably been in service probably about 2 months now. They work really well. They uploaded to the evidence.com. That's actually, I'm not a computer person, but I kind of like the thing. Before we get off shift in the afternoons, we just, download it. Actually, we label everything, then we put it in the charger. It downloads to our evidence locker. We can retrieve it by the actual number that we put on it and the name, and we can also email it straight on to the court systems or Commonwealth Attorney actually. We don't give them access to it, but they do get emails from us with the actual videos for court. And everything seems to be going pretty well. I'm not really a fan of the taser. It's a good tool. I'm scared of electricity, to be honest with you. I'm afraid of the taser myself with it. But we went through training on that also. We did that up at the community center. Part of that training was Officer Inscore being in charge of the program. He had to actually go to Roanoke and take class to be an instructor on the taser. And he could only instruct our department. He wasn't state certified as of yet. But he went up, took that, and he gave us the training. And nobody got shot with it. They said that was not a requirement anymore, that we had to take a shot from the taser, which I'm kind of right. So, like I say, I'm scared of electricity. I don't play with that stuff. They will be trained on it yearly.
interdepartmental stuff, but we'll actually be trained on the taser and go over the body cameras every year, just to make sure everybody's up to speed as they update stuff on the computer. We'll have to be updated too, I guess. Well, they will. I'm probably not going to be, but anyway. Y'all have any questions about the body cameras or the taser program? If y'all would like to come down, some of the footage we can show you that's been through court. We can show you that, or we can show you some of the footage where maybe we just gave them a warning. You can see how the officers, you know, go through their daily routine for traffic stops. And that'd be up to you all if you want to come by and take a look at it. We'll try to pull some up for you. I got to make sure they're not in court, because we can't show them until they go through court. But y'all are welcome to do that.
Okay.
All right, new cars, it's projected 2 new cars will arrive here tomorrow. We'll see, and then soon after that, we'll go ahead and as soon as possible, we have to schedule for or get appointments to have the upfit done, where it means where they put the lights, the radios, the camera system, and all that on the cars. And that probably takes about, per car, probably about 2 weeks, I believe. And depending on when we can get it scheduled in to have it done. We'll see. It should be coming in tomorrow. I'm hoping early in the morning, but more like probably tomorrow afternoon. I told Jeff I wanted to kind of go over the training schedule with you. We did a little training. Like I say, I told you part of it. Officer Inscore went to Roanoke on February 26th and received his taser training. But on March the 15th through the 19th, he attended the general instructor's class in Lynchburg, Virginia, where he's certified as a general instructor, which gave him the authority that he can teach taser statewide. Actually, they go further than that, but he mainly can teach in the state. I attended FTO. I didn't realize my FTO had expired, which is that field training officer. It had expired. I had to go back through the school. That was not an easy school, but it's a good school.
How long had it been expired?
About a year.
I see.
I got my other ones through before it did. But anyway, we have to be recertified every 2 years. I'm not sure I'll be around for the next 2 years, but it's a good school. And I'm actually planning on training most of the officers that's got, they say 2 years. The instructor really recommended 3 years of experience before you send them to the school. They also want them to be general instructors if they go through it. So I've got one scheduled to go in August to general instructor school. I've got one that's already now certified, which is Officer Inscore. He'll be going to the FTO school in September. We do have a general firearms instructor school. That's in July. I can enroll. We're going to do a little competition on that. These guys have to go up there to actually get into that school. They have to go up there on a morning. First thing they do is the firing range. They have to fire a 90, what they call a cold bore score, or they got to come home. They won't let them in unless they shoot a 90 consistently. So we're going to do a little competition with 3 of them over here. I'm not sure the 4th one wants to get into it yet, but we'll ask him if he wants to get in on it. But whichever one wins that little competition, we'll actually go to not general instructors, but firearms instructor school in July. Now, they can go as long as they're actually enrolled into a general instructor school according to the academy. So hopefully we can get us another firearms instructor. Officer Jenkins will be going to general instructor school in August. So He's the next one. I think Officer Waters will be going in December of this year. Corporal Ed doesn't want to go, but he's going to a German instruction school, and he's also going to the FTO school. It's good to have all of them because the way the program is set up, and this is statewide information, we have to rotate these officers with different field training officers. And the way it is right now, they stay with me the whole time. I'm going to approach the sheriff about maybe rotating some of mine with my 2 officers with his field training officers and see if he'll do that. But he's got 4 in the academy himself, so I'm not sure whether they're going to be able to do that. Also, being short-handed, like, well, I let my VCN run it. And that is a pickle because it took me about a month. I studied and all of that information, had to take a security test before it could take the actual VCN test.
What is that?
VCN, that's your Virginia Criminal Information stuff where we run 28s or criminal histories. And I let mine run out. Oh, where's my NDT went? Dead. It wouldn't run anything I sent them. But so I had to go back through that part. I got the security part done, and they're very strict on that thing. I'm not even supposed to have that laptop up where the general public can see. In other words, if I see general public coming around, I got to push it down. They're not supposed to see anything. I can actually go to jail over this stuff. It can go from a class 1 misdemeanor to a class 3 felony. So, so if you ask me to run a license for you, I'm not going to do it. I'll just be honest with you. I don't want to go to prison. So, or jail. I don't care which one, but you know, but anyway, finally got that taken care of last Wednesday. I don't know, I just had a thing. I said, I haven't studied enough, and I just jumped on the computer, and lo and behold, everything I studied with was not on that test. And the main stuff was how you run this information, which that's what the dispatchers do. But we don't use those little things. We just hit for vehicle information and for OL information, put their name and their OL number in and send it. That's all we do. And they had the stuff about how you get information and share it with other agencies. And I said, well, I know now. And I told my guys, y'all study all that stuff's good information to know, but y'all study how to use that stuff like they use over at 911. Actually go over and sit with them and let them, you know, actually our new officers, that's part of the FTO, they got to go over and sit and dispatch. I do too, because I got to be with them. All their training, I have to sign off on it. I'm gonna have to test them on every aspect of the policy manual. It's a daily evaluation done. So looks like we're gonna have some fun for about 12 weeks. That's all. That's all I got to report unless y'all got any questions.
Chief, are these 2 new police cars, are they going to be completely decaled?
No, sir. When I say upfit, that's what I mean by upfit. We got to put markings on them. We got to put radios in.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Probably about 2 weeks per vehicle.
Yeah, you gonna mark both of them though.
Yes, sir.
That's right. You gonna mark both of them.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure we get them marked. I hate to say fleet, but that's what it is, a small fleet. I like them all marked. The only one that should be unmarked is the white one, which is a spare, and the vehicle that I drive. And the one Andy drives. I'd rather have marked. I want the visibility out here that deters crime when they can see the police cars in the area. And I think we got one of the best marked police cars in the area. I mean, I've gotten a lot of compliments. Yeah.
Good looking automobile.
That comes from the children at Clarksville Elementary School. They chose that. We gave them several choices and they asked the one they picked.
And you know, just this training, taser, and body cameras, and I think anyone who has watched the news in the last year knows how important that is. And so I think it's just really good that our officers are
If you notice, well, you want to make sure you pull the right one, because taser is what we call our reaction hand, which is my weak hand. That's why I keep people off of me. This is my gun hand. You don't want to make a mistake, because first of all, the taser's yellow, about as yellow, about as yellow as that shirt. It's always on the weak hand side. They have to pull it weak hand, and that's how you train you to use it. I've had a lot of the officers want to go cross draw, and I said, absolutely not. I'm not doing any cross draw. When I say cross draw, they're turn it around where they can pull it out with their gun hand. I said, no. The reason behind that is this is your non-lethal. You can use it. And this right here is the one where you pull your lethal stuff. You always want to keep this hand free. So that's my training over the years, and they have never told me any different. This hand you want to keep free. We're not even really supposed to have a piece of paper in that right hand or left hand if you're left hand. You're supposed to keep this hand free for that reason alone, in case a threat does come up. And that's all I've got to report on tonight. If y'all got questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you.
Anything? Thank you, Ricky. All righty, Jeff.
All right. Give me a minute to share the screen here. All right. Unfinished business, Planners Warehouse. You know, this is still in the process of working out with the bank, the finalization for the closing. I know that a lot of time has passed between it, which it was originally approved by the bank, and I think it's got to go back through their, you know, their approval process again. Not that it's in danger of failing; they just got to go back and reapprove it through their management team. So that's kind of holding things up a bit. And I'm not going to quote you a date, because I'm tired of quoting you a date and then it changing. So when I find out for sure when it's going to happen, I'll let you guys know. There's nothing that says that it's not going to happen. It's just I don't have a good clear-cut time at this point. I don't want to pull one out of my left pocket. So got some great news this month from rural development. You know, we've been working on the sewer improvement project, which was, you know, as a project that we're going to use to upgrade our disinfection and enhance our sewer plant for future expansion. And we're also going to, with this project, we'll come on now. It don't want to work. There it goes. Decommission the Kennerton pump station and migrate that to a force main system. And this project, you know, is estimated to cost $2.27 million. And we were able to acquire a grant through rural development, thanks to some help from Dewberry and some help from Southside Planning District and our staff. And that project, we've got a $1.668 million grant. That's 73.5% of the total project. And it is a loan for the remaining $602,000, which is about 26%. That interest rate is 1.25 for 40 years. And so, you know, we were ecstatic. This is a grand opportunity for us to fix some problems we got and get some grant money to help us do it. You know, we had to go ahead and execute these documents to obligate it and show that we were intent to move forward. Otherwise, that interest rate could have jumped up about 0.8%, and we didn't want to take that chance. So we will have to obtain interim financing for the $602,000 during the construction phase, and that's something that Tara and I work on, and that'll, you know, we'll bid that out. Once the construction is finished, that will convert to a permanent rural development loan. You know, once the project is complete. So, any questions on that?
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you guys for supporting us with it. You know, I also want to thank the utilities committee, because you know, we could have been less aggressive. I think it maybe not accomplished all of what we needed to, but I think by doing this and their open-mindedness, we went ahead and pursued a project that'll take us well into the next 20, 30 years. So I do want to thank them for their foresight on that. Small business assistance recovery. Man, this thing is slow tonight. We've reviewed and approved 36 applications. They've committed $239,000, remaining about $260,000. 8 businesses have received grant funding. We've had very few applications in the last few weeks. As a matter of fact, we haven't had a meeting in like the last 3 or 4 weeks because there's just no applications, or the applications aren't quite complete. And we're really trying to push people to go after this, trying to encourage these small businesses to apply. And it's I ain't gonna say it's dead, but I'm saying they're just not applying like they were. And so we're still trying out to promote it. And like I said, if anybody's got any questions, I put this on there for anybody watching by YouTube, the information to go get the grant. And Sanji Cooper at Southside Planning is great to work with. And that's her phone number there. And I would encourage these small businesses to talk to her at the least. There's nothing to lose by talking to her. The search grant for the water plant expansion. And of course, we're going to have need to increase our water for the new commercial project at Lakeside Commerce Park. And we've been working with Southside Planning, and we have completed and submitted the application for the $30,000 search grant from Rural Development. And that's in process. That will fund a pre-engineering report for the water plant expansion. That's 100% grant and does not require a local match. And we're already, we've gotten some pretty positive feedback on it. So we're going ahead and beginning solicitation of proposals from qualified firms. In other words, we've got to bid out to acquire a quality firm to do the pre-engineering report. So they're going to begin that solicitation process to kind of hopefully get us a little bit ahead of the games. So once we hopefully receive the grant, we'll be able to move forward quickly. Any questions on that? Last month we voted to extend the marina lease. The town, the marina, and the U.S. Corps have all executed all the related documents for that extension. The building and grounds, we met and we're moving forward with the development of the plans. And have kind of finalized that we do want to move the building to the adjacent town property versus, from the lease core property. With some long-term plans that were made way back, which had had another building that was up there, more of a commercial related building. And I think what our goal is to develop this plan for this building with a future expansion capabilities where we can add on to it later on. But we're going to focus right now on the shower house and the bathhouse and get that taken care of. And that's going to be our focus. We still continue to work on the changes of the plans and coordinate with the health department and the Corps. One of the items that the health department was asking was for the marina to develop a new pump out system. They have developed a new system and put it on a pontoon boat, and that is operational and currently in use, which helps us qualify for one of those. We've also, as an interim step to kind of ease this transition, we've added 3 porta potties at the marina, until this building can be complete. Any questions on the marina?
No, sir.
Well, I'm hoping that we'll have the plans completed, by the new year, by the new budget, and we'll try to have our budget items set up so that we can move forward. But that's my goal. Ultimately, I think the way we're going to have it coming down is we've got to have that building finished, and I think no later than what did we say, June of 2023, I think. But I hope we'll be there a lot quicker than that. We're just being cautious. CARES Act funding, if you remember, we were allocated $205,000, by the county from the federal government for CARES Act COVID relief, and we spent roughly $205,479.08. So the town, and we have we have to spend that money and then ask for reimbursement from the county. And we've submitted all those expenditures for reimbursement. We've received $114,000.10 in reimbursements from the county that you might see in the financials and wonder what are they, but that's what it is. The chamber, since they administered the gift card program, they had everything set up to do it. That money went straight to them because it flowed through them, to the people that bought the gift card. So they got that 80. We've got one outstanding reimbursement for $11,541 that's pending. We're waiting on that to be processed by the county. And what we've got left is a grand total of $72.92, and we'll probably use that on some PPE going forward. But I want to kind of give you how do we finish up with that? So
Funds were spent wisely. A lot of these we'll continue to use, but they were precautionary for COVID. I mean, I think you all did an excellent job in the decisions you made.
Well, thank you. We are gonna get some more money. I don't know exactly. I haven't got 100% confirmation of what that number is and how we're going to be able to use it, but it's going to be another chunk coming, and that's going to probably be substantially larger than what we dealt with here. And so once I get more details, I'll let you know, and how we can use it. So we do have some more coming, and I'll let you know as soon as I know. Vaccinations, all the essential workers, the town and the council were considered to workers for the continuity of government. All staff and council desiring a vaccine have had their first and second shots. That wanted to get it, they've gotten it. Of course, we are still working on the budget. Needless to say, we're a bit behind on the budget. We're trying to catch it up. We're still shooting for the first draft to be proposed at our next town council meeting for review, and then we'll publish it to the public. Then we'll do public input June 3rd, and just solicit feedback from the citizens, and then hopefully we'll adopt the budget at our June town council meeting. I'm jumping around. If y'all have any questions, please stop me. The wine festival we had on April the 10th on Saturday. We had 2 sessions. Needless to say, I think it was a very successful event for what we had to deal with COVID. The first event, I would say, was between 450 and 475 people. The one from 11 to 2, and we took a little break, and then the 3 to 6 event, I would say, was around 400 people. And even with impending rain that day, people seemed to have a great time. They, for the most part, were cooperative and didn't have any problems to speak of. And Chief, I don't think you guys had any issues. People were definitely eager to get out. A lot of smiles, and it was good. Sheila was just happy to get out and be doing what she likes to do. So it was a great event. I want to thank Richard and his crew for helping to prepare the site and get it ready, getting the fencing out, and Ricky and his guys for providing security for the event. And I want to thank the chamber and their staff and their board for the hard work they did to put on that event in the most difficult time. And us being kind of the first one regionally to do this, it went very well. I talked to the health department afterwards, and they said they didn't get any complaints or any concerns. So it made us feel better that we kind of got through it and kind of was a guinea pig for the region. So that's kind of the way that went. I thought it went well. The cruise in, the first cruise in is this Saturday, and that will start at 4 p.m. And right now they're looking to do 3rd to 5th Street. Of course, with the COVID rules, they've got to box it in. They're not going to have to be as elaborate with the fencing as you are for the alcohol events, but they are going to have to use some yellow tape and box off the area they're in and keep account of the people in and going out. So I put this number, if anybody has any, wants to find out more, they can call Bob Murphy here to ask him some questions or find out any details about the cruise in. Of course, that will be the first Saturday of the month, May through October, with the exception of the September event, which they'll do Labor Day Sunday with the Lake Life Live event. So they'll be doing that this weekend. So if you got some time, you want to go down and support the guys, I know they'd love to see you out. So the Lake Life Live event for May 1st, which was this Saturday, has been rescheduled to September the 18th. And, they worked really, and I worked with them, and Dale and Heather and all of them worked really hard to try to put together a plan where they could accommodate as many people in their box, as they call it. You box the area off and you decide, determine your square footage, and based off of that determines your capacity. And then you take 30% of that capacity. And once they looked at these numbers, it still was a decent crowd, but it wasn't big enough to accommodate what they're normally used to. And their concern is this event's not, it's not, they don't buy tickets. People don't buy tickets in advance. They buy them at the gate. And of course, and then they have sponsors that have tickets too. And if all the sponsors come, to the event, and then you had 500 people waiting to get in, and they had to turn away half of them, they were real concerned about that. So they decided to postpone this event, and that was going to be North Tower, but that is going to be September the 18th. Fortunately, the governor has relaxed some of the capacity rules. Instead of being 30%, it's going to 50%, which I think is going to give them the numbers where they can move forward, but that will not take effect until, I think it's May 15th. And so their first event will be on June the 5th, and that will be feature attraction and the Connection Band. These guys are eager to get started again and get their series going. And both of these bands are local groups, so they'll bring a local following, and we're real excited to get going again. Of course, then we'll jump to the Band of Oz on the Saturday before July the 4th. Should be a tremendous event. Blackwater will be here on August the 7th. And then they will also have JB and the Get Down Browns and the Embers on the 5th, which will be a Sunday, which is the Sunday before Labor Day. And then they will end it with the October 2nd with Cat 5 Band. And hopefully we'll continue to see things lifted, and those events will get more back to their normal structure. Lake Fest, they're planning to move forward with it, but a lot of that's going to depend on if we still got to box everything in, and and you got to count everybody going in and out. And I don't know that Lake Fest as it is now, would work in that environment. So what we're hoping is that next month they just, they lift all of that, where you don't have to worry about capacity. And well, we will see. So that's still kind of up in the air, but we're still planning for it. The chamber's still, looking to go forward, and pray for the some of the restrictions to be lifted. The Big Lake Flea Market is April the 8th. That will start at 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Oh, I'm sorry, May the 8th. I'm sorry, you're right. Please disregard that. May the 8th. That is, she's looking into finding out if that's got to be boxed in, or are they going to treat it a little different, because it's more of a vendors set up in the parking areas on the street, and people just kind of shop from the sidewalk. We normally don't close the street, but the thought process is if they require to box it in, we probably will have to close the street. And she really doesn't want to do that, because it's a great event. It's really an event that people shop. I mean, they come and shop, and they shop those vendors on the street and the people inside the store. So she's, we're waiting to hear back from the health department on that, hoping that they will make her box it in. So Mid-Atlantic broadband fiber easement, we worked and negotiated, the final terms for that fiber easement. That of course is going to take that fiber from the water tank to the food line, and of course it's feeding off of the backbone that's doing the wireless service for Lake Country. We were able to obtain $2 per foot for a length of 653 feet for $1,306. They also agreed to put us in some access ports, one at the community center property and one at where the town shop could go. So, and this is kind of what it would look like. We've kind of gone ahead and moved forward with this, but it probably would be beneficial for us to make a motion and vote on this to make it 100% official, as you guys are granting them that easement. So if we could do an action on this, I would greatly appreciate it.
Okay, do we have a motion to proceed?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all right, Tara.
Vice Mayor Warner,
Yes.
Councilmember Dennis,
Yes.
Councilmember Height,
Yes.
and Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's see. All right, come on now. I shouldn't have stopped. It would have kept going. Oh, there we go. All right. Now moving forward with the financial software RFP. As you remember, in the 2020-21 budget, we put in the budget to upgrade and replace our financial software package, our enterprise system, which handles all of our billing, handles our payroll, financials, work orders, the whole gamut. The current system we got is, we've got it back, I think, what was it, there, 96, and it's served the purpose well, but the people that own the company, good folks, but they don't really have a good succession plan, and they so we got concerned and have started the process for looking. So we did conduct an RFP and received 3 proposals. This evaluation team reviewed these RFPs and conducted competitive negotiations with the finalists, and the staff is recommending to award the bid to Edmunds Government Tech headquarters in Northfield, New Jersey. To give you a background on it, these guys have, South Hill and South Boston migrated to Edmunds many years ago from RT, which is what we had. I'm sorry, Farmville, yeah. And South Boston has Edmunds too. They've all been very pleased, giving them very high marks. Their proposal is very impressive, and using the ladies in the office, because they're the ones that use it, they're very much in favor of moving forward with this. Unfortunately, the software package is more expensive than what we budgeted. It's one-time cost, and that includes the software implementation. They have to convert the existing data and move it over to the system, and they also help train and make those migrations. And that product is costing $85,655, even with our negotiations. That's that annual cost. That's your one-time cost. Our annual cost would be $22,380 for support. We're electing to go with their hosting service, which means that we won't have a server here. It'll be hosted remotely. So that means we won't have to be buying a high-class server to operate this product. We won't have to worry about backups. We won't have to worry about upgrades and buying new hardware down the road. And they'll make sure that it's you've got redundancy, and if you need a disaster backup, you got it. And we would be in a much better position than we are today from that standpoint. So that's an annual cost of $3,600, and that starts at implementation. The annual support cost starts in year 2. The first year is kind of a warranty on the product, and you don't have to pay for it in the first year. Man, this thing wants to act a fool tonight. Why it's being so slow? But in essence, we're asking to move forward with this procurement. and I think I put it in your packet. I've got to get back to the package. We're asking, to move forward with this awarding this bid. Our budget was for $55,000, and Tara and I have discussed it, and things are coming in better than we expected in terms of revenue, and we had a nice healthy contingency built into the budget, and I think we were asking to take $34,255 from contingency reserve and appropriate it to this line item so we can purchase this package and get this started so we can start this migration process. The migration process will probably take 8 to 12 months, as we move forward. We're also negotiating with them if we pay, a lot of it up front, if we can get some discounts, and they've agreed to that. We're going to review that plan, and if it makes sense and we're not putting too much risk on the line, we may go ahead and do it all out of this budget and try to benefit from that cost reduction. But
But it's more than enough in contingency to cover the SCADA and this.
well, of course,
Well,
the
this
SCADA is,
one contingency, SCADA's water fund.
yeah, SCADA's on the water side. Yeah. So this is from a different budget completely.
Jeff, I got a quick question.
Okay.
This company's been around for a long time.
Oh yeah, they're a nationwide company, 40-some years, yeah. And they are heavily in municipalities. I mean, so they have a big programming staff, 150, I think it is what they have. So yeah, and they know how to. Go ahead, Tara. Go ahead. So
I said they're even familiar with our water meter reading, the meters we use, the handheld we use. I mean, even the software that we've been using, they were well aware of all of that. And so, yeah, it's just.
Yeah, my only concern was if we negotiate and they just say, yeah, if you pay us all up front, we're going to give you this discount. We really wouldn't have any repercussions to come back if we weren't happy.
that's true. You wouldn't have any leverage, and that's what we're going to consider that as we move forward, and we'll make a decision based off what we see. That what we're getting from the surrounding municipalities, they're extremely pleased, and they are a trustworthy company. But we don't have to do that. We do not have to do that.
Well, just if you feel like it's financially to our advantage, I just wanted to ask the question.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I think that's something we're going to look at and determine. Unfortunately, I would love to have this happen in this year's budget. That's one thing I'd love to happen, and not be. We're still going to have the maintenance cost in next year's budget, but I would love to have as much of this be in this budget as we can. So, but
you need a motion to be able to pull the $34,255 from the.
Yeah, I need a motion to award the bid to Edmunds GovTech, and also to appropriate that $34,255 from contingency reserve.
I think that's exactly what I just said. I'll make that motion.
You just gave us the abbreviated version, Bruce.
That's right.
All right, Bruce made a motion. Is there a second?
Carolyn.
Okay. All right, Tara.
Vice Mayor Warner,
Yes.
Councilmember Dennis,
Yes.
Councilmember Height,
Yes.
and Councilmember Clark.
Yes.
Right. Thank you, guys and ladies. The Lake Country Airport Commission announced that they also received a grant award. Of course, Mike Denton is the chairman, and back in 2016, he presented a 4-phase project for the rehab of the runway and the facilities at the regional airport. Phase 1 was to demolish the end of the existing runway and relocate the threshold with related lights. 2 was to rehab the runway and apron. 3 was to clear an area and grading. They have to clear a safety area, so if planes were to veer off, they'd have open areas to go through. And then 4 is more clearing a safety area, grading, and then they're going to stockpile the excess materials. And in April of 19, the town council, Clarksville, Boyden, and the county of Mecklenburg voted to approve a moral obligation for $150,000 line of credit for the airport commission, and they use that to for working capital to get started on the projects. As they ask for reimbursement, they have to spend it and they have to ask for reimbursement, and so that they've used that to do phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 and the phase 2 projects have been complete, and that line of credit is paid off. So it's that 150 is free and clear to be used in phase 3. The Lake Country Airport Commission was awarded a grant from the Commonwealth Aviation Fund. It's an 80% grant, 20% match. They got their grant piece was for $872,000. Which shall be the 20% match. They will, have to come up with. This thing is locking up on me again. Give me a minute. All right, and they're not. The commission is not asking us to provide any extra funds for phase 3. If they are asking if we could provide it, would be great. But they're not requiring us to do it. They're not saying, look, you got to come up with it. But and I'm gonna be looking in this year's budget to see if we maybe can throw a little bit more at them. And I'm also going to be talking to the Economic Development Authority to help them some too, because this is a heck of a grant, and we want to keep our airport, and we want to, it is a marketable tool. We had a couple of big players flying there this past month, and we're still trying to figure out who they are, but they were flying one of those nice corporate jets. So we want to keep this thing going, but I just wanted to make you aware and see if you guys had any questions. And I hope we'll continue to support them as we move forward.
I'd like to express gratitude to Mike Benton for the wonderful job he continues to do.
Yeah, he has put a lot of time in this. He puts a lot of time in this. So
man's things out there, he and his wife, and people are very receptive to them.
Yeah, he's really that group is really taking this airport and taking it to a new level. So all right, come on now. This thing is slow tonight. Kind of bring you up to speed on some issues at 2nd Street parking. Of course, we're in a great position. We've got a new motel owner and a new restaurant owner. And in the previous lives of those two groups, there was always a little bit of a competition on parking. They would venture over into the motel parking and park on the street, block. It was people were going wherever they could go. So basically, the two groups, the restaurant owner and the motel owner, VDOT and some of our staff got together, and they're tried to come up with an equitable way to control parking on 2nd Street. And so you see some no parking signs up towards the corner of, if you're heading up 2nd Street to Market Street, which is to try to, if you have people parking on both sides and it's dual lanes of traffic, if you have boats or anything come there, it's a bottleneck. So we all worked together and did it. I think we may have overdid it a little bit because I'm getting some complaints from some of the patrons for the restaurant, especially some of our older folks that want to park a little bit closer. So we're going to be looking at it again and working with these guys. They did a good job of working together to try to come up with an equitable solution, but I think we may have gone a little bit overboard. So we will be looking at that to see if we can try to improve that. So it works for all parties. But both businesses, I think, have done well with their renovations, and they're coming along, and the restaurant seems to be doing well. So we're very excited, and we want to help them in any way we can. And that's, if any questions on that.
No, sir.
That's all I've got, Mr. Mayor, unless y'all have something from me.
Council, anything from you guys? If not, we're gonna call it a night. Thanks, everybody. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good
Have a
night.
good night, everybody.